Good morning, professionals you trust. My name is Leslie McFadden with Leslie McFadden Real Estate. And this morning I have the privilege of introducing our featured presenter. We have Nathan Kelly with Pure Clean Carpet Cleaning and Pure Dry Restoration. And we asked him to fill out a few questions so that we could get to know him better. The first question is, how do you look for opportunities to grow? His answer is, being uncomfortable is usually a good sign that I have an opportunity to be better. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable helps me stay willing to embrace those opportunities. That's a beautiful answer. Our second question, how do you want to be remembered? His answer, I've never felt a need to leave a legacy, but I would love knowing that someone else's life became better because we crossed paths. The third question that we asked him was, what differentiates you from your competitors? His answer, our incredibly high level of service. We have a list of core values that we strive to live up to every single day, every single time. Unfortunately, we are in an industry that doesn't focus on serving the client. And while that makes it easy for us to shine, we'd rather raise up the industry as a whole, as opposed to being the lone wolf. Until then, it's because people matter that we serve them on the highest level. Everyone, welcome Nathan Kelly.
Thank you so much, Leslie, for introducing me. And please forgive me while I figure out this Zoom thing or this presentation deal every single time. As Leslie said, Nathan Kelly with Pure Clean and Pure Dry. My phone is always on. We are in a business that we all understand doesn't take time off. So there's my personal cell phone number. You can always text me and I can always respond to you as soon as I can. We're going to talk more about Pure Dry stuff. Those of you who've been around the last couple of times remember that we were talking about what to do to avoid water damage. Last time we were talking about what to do to avoid sewage backups. And my next favorite subject, besides talking about poo, is how to avoid mold issues in your home or your business. So if you run into these things, we're happy to help. We're always available for you, but let's try to find a way where you don't need to call me at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve. So our goal is to avoid catastrophe. Our goal is to avoid having you taken out of your home for a time while these types of issues are being addressed. We talked again about water damage, floods, leaks, fires, smoke damage, mold, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So what can you do to avoid mold from happening, or if it does, to minimize it as much as possible? Okay, most of these photos are from previous clients, either their home or business. So these aren't just stock photos. They're the real deal. So bad things can happen statistically, and Tanya might be able to back this one up with the actual number, but statistically something's going to happen to you, your home, or your business. So here are a few tips and some good information about mold. Did you know that mold is not necessarily bad? I was going to insert some dramatic dun 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 music when we brought the mold slide up, because myself included, when usually when I think of mold, I think black mold. I think it's going to kill me. I think it's that kind of thing that we hear about a lot on the news. But there's mold's natural. 10,000 species exist, and they are important to us. They keep us alive. They digest organic matter. They're very beneficial. They're only unwanted when it's somewhere where you don't want it to be. Just like a weed, the definition of a weed is a plant growing somewhere you don't want it to grow. So for mold to exist, it needs moisture and it needs organic material. So if it has those two things, it's going to grow. Mold's all around us. The spores are all around us. You're breathing in mold right now, but not all of it will hurt you. Okay, so if moisture content in walls, rooms, attics, crawl spaces exceeds 15%, mold will grow. Again, not necessarily a big deal for everybody. Those who are older, those who are younger, those who have allergies like me, those who have compromised respiratory systems, these are the situations where we want to get this looked at and addressed. Some of you may have experienced mold. They typically are in damp areas like the shower, the laundry room, behind a curtain if windows aren't open. When you smell that musty smell, that's microbial growth. And that's the term that we use because mold is the scary word. Microbial growth refers to anything growing. A lot of us have seen dark spots in those wet spaces, in the corners of walls behind furniture. These are some places to keep in mind when you're doing your spring cleaning. Thank goodness it's almost spring, to keep an eye out so you can address these problems before they get big. So how do you prevent them in the first place? Airflow, that's huge. Air is energized, and when it circulates, it continues that energy and it clears out the old stuff, brings in the new stuff. Using exhaust fans, even if they're loud, even if they're annoying, use exhaust fans. Leave them on for at least an hour after your shower, unless you take cold showers like me in the morning, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. Have that air fan moving. Ventilation is key in your attics and your crawl space to get that air moving. Having a crawl space that's clean, having a vapor barrier on the dirt or the slab, keeping that moisture from coming into your home. There's plenty of companies who will help inspect your crawl space, inspect your attic. A lot of them do that for free. They even take pictures for you. So utilize that if you don't want to go down there yourself. Clean often. So airflow and cleaning helps reduce any potential damage that might happen. Because again, mold's all around us. It's going to do its thing, and it's not always a bad thing. Again, it's only bad if we don't want it there, or you have a compromised immune system. So clean your home or your business regularly to reduce the mold that's just sitting around. Dusting your surfaces. Again, if you have a compromised immune system, cleaning is always good, but dusting, moving those spores around, that can affect you negatively. So keep that in mind. Having your carpets professionally cleaned, plug, shameless plug, at least once per year to remove the stuff in your carpet will help. Did you know that carpet is the largest air filter in your home? It traps the stuff that's in the air, let alone the stuff that you're bringing in when you walk into your home. Okay, again, bacteria, mold spores, allergens, pet spots, embedded urine. Okay, that urine has salts that attract airborne particles, including mold spores. In addition to, of course, it stinks. So obviously you can reach out to me if you want us to come take a peek and help get your home clean. Plug, shameless plug. So what happens if you notice black spots? Again, don't panic, don't freak out. It may not be a detrimental strain. What we recommend most to most people that we don't already know. Someone finds us on Google or Yelp, or they just call in, oh my gosh, I have mold, I've heard bad things. We recommend, if they're truly concerned, to schedule an appointment with an industrial hygienist. That's a fancy term for somebody who tests air and surfaces to determine which of those 10,000 strains the microbial growth is, how much of it is in the air, how much of it is embedded into the surface or into the material that it's sitting on, not just the very, very top. Once that testing is done, they give you a report, and it's a pretty thick one that tells you way more information than you care to know about microbial growth. But it tells you if it's hazardous, if it's not hazardous, and what concentrations can potentially be hazardous. So we know a few that we trust. We don't have any financial connection with them. We've just worked with them enough to know their integrity level, that they're also serving clients on the highest level. So if you want a referral, I can send a few your way. You'll see on the right-hand side, this is an example of the 12 steps we use to remediate mold. We don't use every single step on every single project. This is, again, where an industrial hygienist is a benefit to you. They print out that report of what the stuff is and how toxic it is, but they also write a multi-page protocol that mold remediation companies like us follow to a T. That way, you know we're doing nothing more and nothing less than what's absolutely necessary to get rid of that growth. We have heard horror stories about other companies who are called to get rid of mold, and either they just paint over it, they just spray bleach on it, or magically every single remediation project they encounter is $30,000 plus. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be scary and expensive. But going through these extra steps just to make sure, whether you use us or not, calling the IH first, having them write that protocol, you know, whatever company you're choosing to use is only doing what's absolutely necessary. We are going to open it up for questions, and I know a lot of us love to talk about microbial growth. So feel free to let me know if there's anything else I can answer. Side note, disclaimer, asterisk, asterisk, I am not a certified mold remediation expert. I don't have a certification in mold remediation. That's why I surround myself with very, very smart people who actually know the ins and the outs of the spores world. Any questions I can help with?